forget everything I said in the last video. Turns out, they don't want Piers Morgan. Isn't that something? Now see, this is the thing. Was he fired or did he quit? Was he fired or did he quit? Now, all we know is that first he was, I guess, tenderized like you would do any piece of meat. He was tenderized by Dr. Scholler. And then the alpha male, Alan Beresford, Alan Wears My Shirt Beresford, went in for the jugular. And so Alex Beresford, he just asked some rather polite questions, and that seems to rattle Piers something terrible. Piers Morgan was off hinge that day. Everybody saw it. And so he decided to storm off the set like a big prima donna, and he never came back, you know? So he went to wander the desert for 40 years, and he never came back. So win-win, okay? So now he's saying, blah, 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 blah. Do I get my job back? No, you walked off, and they accepted. That's what the story says. I think this was just like a big campaign by Piers, because somebody must have tipped him off that he was going to be cleared by Ofcom. And so I guess simultaneously his son and his wife, and then of course he himself decided, well, this is going to be like a fight on three fronts to try to get this job back. Well, hopefully it doesn't work. I mean, I won't believe it until I actually know for sure. But it says in the Daily Mail, the same place where he wrote his rather scathing column asking for his job back, groveling if you ask me. He says, "We have no plans to bring Piers Morgan back." That's what the article says. ITV rules out Star's return to Good Morning Britain and infuriates him with claims that he only was cleared by Ofcom because producers balanced his comments about Meghan Markle's, supposed lies. So that was the thing. If it was just him by himself making these nasty, ridiculous comments, then that would have been a problem. But because he was balanced by the co-host on the show, that way they gave balance as a show in totality. There was balance there. So, okay, so you have your balance, yin and yang, this and that. And so the show itself was not the problem. It was Piers Morgan who was the problem. And so when the problem storms off to your office and stands there in front of you, with his chest heaving up and down, frothing at the mouth, and tells you, I quit. And then you say, well, okay, thank you, we accept. I bet you could have bought his behind for a nickel. I'm sure that was not the desired outcome. So that big stunt that he pulled, that big, I guess he was trying to use it as a timeout, like it was some kind of sports match, even though he's not in the least bit athletic, I would say. But he tried to call a bluff, and they called him out on it, and that was the end of it. So, so long, Piers Morgan. And then maybe, let's just assume this, maybe those so-called jobs that he had lined up, maybe they just didn't pan out. Maybe nobody wants Piers Morgan. Now, again, it's too soon to celebrate. I'll believe that he's not coming back when he doesn't come back. But maybe, just maybe, nobody wants him. So perhaps he and Sharon Osbourne should start a show, the Piers and Sharon show or something like that. Okay, so then there's the other thing that's happening. Omid Scobie was on This Morning, and I just want to point this out. He was grilled. Maybe grill is too strong a word, but it was Allison and some other lady that I've never seen before. But I guess that was, the optics of it to me just seems like they were pandering to try to ask some very tough questions and to make sure that there were non-white people asking the question. I'm just saying that's what it looks like to me. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think that, they're doing a lot of posturing, and they're trying to be careful, at least on television, where the Sussexes are concerned. But, of course, in the tabloid press, it's open season.